What's up, Wednesday? What's up, Wednesday? Almost Thursday. You know the day. Good evening to you. How you feeling? Monsters Ball was a movie starring Halle Berry when she actually won her only Oscar for actually being sexually out there. But that's another story for another time. With Billy Bob Thornton, who was actually the CO at the prison where her husband had been executed, but they wound up in some like torrid love affair or something like that. For however long of a period of time. The meaning behind Monsters Ball is in England, before they did away with capital punishment, what they would do is that the guards would throw an actual, not party, but, give the person their last meal, kind of let them live it up, however, to whatever extent, and the night before the person was to be executed. So hence a ball for a monster. And talking about a lot of stuff with this whole Diddy trial and everything, I've gotten into, I'll just say spirited debates with a few people about it. And especially with some of you good folks online who've left some great comments calling him a monster. Got you. Well, the Department of Justice said yesterday, a couple of days ago, that there is no Epstein list. Basically, there's almost like no Epstein file. Jeffrey Epstein, that's who I'm talking about. Just the gentleman that alleged to have more than over 1,000 women, most underaged, taking trips with different presidents, being seen rather, such as Bill Clinton, our current president, Donald Trump. Not saying that they did anything with any underage kids, but they have been documented as being on these flights with Epstein and possibly going to Epstein Island at certain times. He had a Boeing 727, and because there were so many younger women, underage women, always in appearance getting off of these flights and onto these flights, the locals would call it the Lolita Express. The Lolita Express. Back in, I believe it was 2008, they said a woman had reported that her stepdaughter had gone to Epstein's mansion, I believe in Florida, Miami, and she went with another young lady, but allegedly they went to go strip and massage and do a bunch of other stuff. What am I saying here? It's funny the way the world works, right? It's funny the way the world works. Because I hear a lot of times people say, well, as black people or people, you got to do better than other people. You can't do what other races or groups of people do. And, I hear that to a certain extent. But what about a guy like this? And although he was killed back in August of 2019, they also showed a video, and it is clearly an edited video of him hanging, but then he's there, then he's there. So there's like a minute allegedly missing out of this video. A monster. What grown man would sleep with a 14-year-old kid? Wait, let me stop, because there are some. But what I'm saying to you is that that's a monster. So when we're so quick to deem people as the big bad wolf or this evil person or this angry thing, say what you really mean. And that's what I like to get at. People, say what you really mean. When people comment and talk about people, and it does. And I've heard other people say, oh, well, you just play the race card, or other people play the race card. Well, why is it such a thing as a race card? You tell me. I know about a race car. We all know about a race car because they go inordinately faster than any other car. And that's what they're put on a track for. But a race car. Why is there such a thing? Let me help you out. There's such a thing because there's always an issue when it comes to race. There is a lot of times an unfairness when it comes to race. A lot of people, and I'm not saying anything that Diddy did was right, but it's weird how he has an incident or incidents with two women, and here is a man that slept with underage women, and still even in his death, because of probably the people that he had on Epstein Island or in whatever mansion or wherever he was at, it's shh. And I got a quick question. If we want to play a race card, how many of you think we're black? How many of them think we're Latino? How many of them you think we're white? Well, they've had like little, lists of just different people floating around, including Michael Jackson years ago, and other people, Naomi Campbell. But that's why when people are skeptical of government, when people are skeptical about how other people are treated, I think that it's lame for people just to say, oh, you always just playing the race card, or somebody's always just playing a race card. Everything in this world has excesses. People do things in excessive manners. Just like how people are talking about the Carnival Cruise Line now. Is it racist or not? But once again, we're going to stay on topic. Because even me as a black person, I know that there's certain things I don't like that certain people in my community do. But what I'm not going to do is not minimize how somebody else feels as far as when it comes down to race. I mean, let's face it. We all try to be the best type of people that we are to other people. Hopefully. But we've had the Black Panther Party. We have black Israelites. But none of them in American society has done as much damage as the Ku Klux Klan. Never heard of any black groups walking around with masks on or hiding their faces. And this is what I like to talk about, things that are obviously right and wrong. Some things are, I guess if you want to look at it on a level, are bad. Just like nobody should want to hurt or do anything to anybody else. But have you seen a group of black people throughout the history of American history walking around hiding themselves with coned hoods on? Except for that foolishness Kanye West did a few months ago. Because typically that's not how most ethnic groups behave. And that's not how a lot of Caucasian people behave. It was a small sect of people. That's why even when I talk about that, you cannot make a blanket statement about, oh, everybody's racist, oh, everybody's such and such. But it always appears that when it comes down to major things like this, a man who has slept with and prostituted out 14-year-old girls with the help of his girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, who's, I believe, still serving time, and other people like that. But it's so easy for us to throw around the words monster to a person who is dealing with two women in consensual relationships because we saw one video and it was a horrible video. And how you think you would feel if you saw a video with Jeffrey Epstein doing what he was doing, or, having other men do what they were doing to these kids? So I guess that would make Diddy look like the Cookie Monster, huh? A lot of times, and in my experience, as being an African American, there are certain keys that, in my estimation, I feel that people put out because I get it. They want to be respectful. They don't want to say the N word. They don't want to call you a jigaboo. They don't want to call you a coon, any of that kind of stuff, a monkey, even though people do at times do still say that, right? But there's certain words they don't want to say, so it becomes all of these other things. He's a monster. He's just a bandit. He's a criminal. He's whatever you want to call it. 1,000 words I probably can't even think of right now. But what I'm saying to you is that you have some monster like Epstein, and they allowed him to have a ball with a bunch of underage kids. And a lot of people most likely knew what was going on. And even in his death, Because most people would probably say, well, he deserved whatever he got. But even in his death, people are still covering up for him. People are still, the Department of Justice, the FBI, at the highest level, there is still a cover up for him. So just wanted to give my opinion on it. I mean, I'm sure everybody else has their opinion on it. But when we start talking about monsters, when you start giving labels to people, be aware of what labels you're giving to what people. Because yes, there can be all different types of monsters. But this guy, I mean, he was all monsters into one, wasn't he? Over 1,000, mostly underage women, girls, not even women, girls. But hey, you tell me what you think. Just wanted to put that out there because I know, like I said, last week talked a lot about Diddy, just different things about that. And like I said, got some good positive comments with certain stuff, but a lot of negative comments. And I would like to see the same type of vitriol and the same type of, I can't believe that, going towards this government cover up or whatever is going on. Something that affects, and I guarantee you, still affects and is still out here with men, sex trafficking. That is the real sex trafficking, underage women. But hey, that's just one guy's opinion. Let me know how you feel. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're almost at 300. So I'm going to be doing that little giveaway soon, I guess, hopefully. But you know how we do. Until next time, live life. Don't let life live you.